fellows, put aside the petty grievances that have splintered us for so long. We will unite, we will stand together, and
We'll try to get to the bottom of this multiverse, thing. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you think that the state of the current MCU is a hot load of ass, if it's not, nor if you don't believe that it could ever reach the heights of Infinity War or Endgame. Regardless of your stance, I have a question, or rather a few. You see, this is a safe space. Sure, it's still the internet where people get to be keyboard warriors from the safety behind a screen, but I want this to be a peaceful discussion, especially considering that I have no horse in this race. So first off, I'm not here to come at anyone on some trolling or toxic BS. I'm not a diehard MCU fan. I haven't watched every MCU project that they've shot out from their coochie. If that makes me unqualified, then I apologize in advance. But anyway, will we ever truly rid ourselves of the multiverse crutch that has plagued these movies that we used to enjoy? Is the multiverse even so much of a bad thing? Is it overdone? Is it a cameo machine? Does it take away from the depths of characters and their arcs? Does the multiverse serve as a tool to smooth over a lot of shit because writers are lazy and they ignore plot holes? I imagine most of us would answer yes to those questions. But what do I know? Based off of the MCU alone, you might say that the multiverse shenanigans has been going on for long enough, and might have already overstayed its welcome given how prevalent it's become in their movies. But the truth is, alternate realities has been a thing for quite some time now. In today's age, it feels like we can't escape it. It feels like I keep bringing up Invincible in every other video I do at this point, but even the comics, which started in early 2003, were incorporating alternate realities in its story. It wasn't just a change in the show to be relevant with all the multiverse craze that has been going on. If I'm to be honest here, I'm not entirely sure how to feel about the use of the multiverse. I kinda treat the multiverse like public school lunch. It's nice to know it's there, but I'm not indulging myself with that shit unless I absolutely have to. I mean seriously, looking back at it, serving chocolate milk with pizza at 11 in the morning was kinda crazy shit, man. Let me speak for myself. Anyway, the main reason why I'm even making this video is because I saw someone online trashing Deadpool 3 and how it came and went so fast and how no one talks about it anymore. Then from there, others were joining in about how Deadpool 3 ruined Logan by shitting all over the proper and beautiful send-off that Wolverine had. Hell, if you look at Robert Downey Jr. who played Iron Man and is now about to play Doom, and you see a lot of people are pretty conflicted, despite him playing a completely different character. This one isn't really egregious in my opinion because he isn't playing an Iron Man variant from another universe. If anything, it's a money decision because good old familiar faces definitely help the box office. But you guys don't need me to tell you that, you already know it. At least most of you do. Back to the real reason I'm making this video, you watch Logan and see the send-off that his character had, and then you end up watching Deadpool 3 and he's back. Granted, it's not the same version we saw die in Logan, but it's still Wolverine. The fact that the Wolverine in Deadpool 3 is still being played by Hugh Jackman, I imagine that some people have a difficult time separating the two Wolverines. Hell, I know for a fact that some people are. If you're one of those people who realizes this but still has an issue with it, please explain yourself down below, besides doubling down and saying how it doesn't matter. I would accept the answers that I see on Twitter in those threads, but there's a lot of toxic idiots in there. So yeah, I don't want to accept their words as gospel. That's why I'm turning to the good people over at YouTube who are never toxic. God, I'm probably jinxing this shit right now. It's also important to note that not every viewer is a diehard fan. Just like anything of popularity, a lot of people are just gonna be casual fans. For real-world meta reasons, I understand why characters don't seem to stay dead. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, just like how Michael K. Williams is Omar, or how Bryan Cranston is Walter White. It can be difficult seeing an actor who absolutely smashed it in an iconic role and then see them as someone else. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is box office. Let's not even begin to kid ourselves here. I'm not sure if fans of these movies would run as fast to catch it if someone else other than Hugh Jackman was playing Wolverine in Deadpool 3. At least maybe not at first. Obviously, the core fan base will watch it because it's Wolverine, and some people watch whatever the MCU puts out there. But time will tell as the X-Men are about to be rolled out into the MCU. It's exciting to know that I'll be a fanboy again, depending on the damn justice my fellow mutants are given. There's always a possibility of another variant being right around the corner for a character who just died. As a result, characters will never truly stay dead. In a sense. Now, not to go on too much of a tangent here, but Logan was more than just another superhero movie to me. Wolverine is one of my favorite superheroes, starting all the way back to the 90s animated series, as well as X-Men Evolution and the Fox films growing up. He was just an overall unstoppable force. It didn't matter how much he got his ass kicked, because you know he was gonna heal up and get the job done. I loved him. Then, being older and watching Logan all those years later, the movie got me way more emotional than I thought any superhero movie would. The shit seriously had me tearing up, man. Damn near had to fight back the sniffles. Funny enough, I always saw my pops as Wolverine as a kid. His high tolerance to pain, the smoking, and the man was jacked. I always saw him as being so damn cool, and of course as a kid you wanna emulate the cool guy. So I grew up even taller than my old man, and as any child who had a great relationship with their father, I loved him. As father time would have it though, my father started to look smaller as I grew older and taller. He even got more and more gray in his beard and hair. He wasn't as active or as big and strong as I remembered him as a child. And then, one day, he passed away and was no longer around. When I watched Logan the first time, my old man was still alive, and yet the movie hurt a lot. It felt like I was watching a distant father die who I grew up idolizing. It hurt like hell to watch Logan go like that, man. A character who would always heal up and bounce back was no longer healing up to get back into the fight. And that was the end to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. At least at the time. Now, the second time I watched Logan was a while after my old man passed, and fuck, did I struggle to make it through to the ending. The movie destroyed me harder than on my first watch through. Okay, I didn't mean to be such a downer here, I apologize for that, but I say all of that to say that the emotional impact Logan made me feel was real. With that said, you only get one teary-eye session out of me for my favorite characters. If Hugh Jackman's Wolverine dies again, which I don't think he will, I don't care even if it's a more emotional send-off. I'll be unmoved. You've already done it. My emotional receptors are turned off if I remotely sense that you're trying to double dip your chip. You got me once and you're not gonna get me again. I feel like a lot of people would agree with that though. But yeah, death in the multiverse is like putting a character on the bench for a while. When they're needed again, they'll be subbed back into the universe. In the meantime, they just gotta play dead and sit on the sideline. And again, this isn't just a MCU thing. This is also for any other piece of media that uses alternate realities, universes, alternate timelines, time traveling, any of that bullshit. I guess this is where I feel a bit conflicted, because while variants are indeed different characters, they are replacements to sorta get the audience with the emotional gut punch the first time around, while still managing to keep the comic book character around. If you look at Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Wanda was there bodying left and right, laying waste to the Illuminati members. You can say those characters that Wanda bodied were cameos used to generate hype. I mean, yeah, sure. Obviously, if the Illuminati members played a more pivotal role in the movie, they wouldn't just be cameo characters. But are cameo characters such a bad thing? And I'm just asking here. I don't feel too strongly one way or the other. The one thing that I do appreciate about multiverse business is kinda like in the old Dragon Ball Z games, when you have like these what-if stages, where events are different from the original canon story. Real quick in Sparking Zero, when you're Goku going up against Vegeta in his grade ape form, he could turn Super Saiyan. And then later on, you go to Planet Namek, and then Vegeta's already Super Saiyan, and he already defeated Frieza. They're really just used to be cool different deviants from the main story so that they could show off some cool shit that fans might probably wanted to see. I'm assuming the what if stories from Marvel are similar. I don't know, I still gotta get around to seeing that shit too. Hey man, maybe the best use of the multiverse is when it's used in small doses. But what the hell do I know? Something else I wanted to touch on real quickly is that I feel that the multiverse can be leaned on a bit too much, where it's a device that kickstarts a lot of these movies. Not everything has to be multiverse related, and I don't think it's like that for every project that the MCU releases, but again, it's just way more prevalent now than previously. Okay, personally, when I hear a movie is gonna drop that I know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm gonna go watch, I'm only gonna watch one of the big trailers to help build up some hype for me, and that's it. I'm not gonna go look at the cast, I'm not gonna go look and see what the story is gonna be like. I'm not gonna go out of my way to find any leaks. Whatever I gathered from the trailer is all I'm gonna have to go off on until I sit my ass down and watch the movie. While I don't know if this was ever gonna be the case of there being a street level Spider-Man story, which would involve Kingpin, something that I would love to see, hearing that we're gonna end up getting another multiverse related story has me sighing out of the side of my neck. Again, I don't know if this was ever gonna be a thing or if that's just what people like me would have wanted, so don't kill me too much. I stay off of the streets of MCU information as much as possible, because I prefer going into movies with low expectations. But I digress with my big ass yapping ass self. The thing with Spider-Man is that he has range. Spider-Man could absolutely be in smaller contained stories. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay for Spider-Man to only be in New York without some world-ending disaster happening that requires him to team up with high-level soups. I don't know about the rest of you, but a small-scale Spider-Man movie with Peter picking up after the events of No Way Home with Kingpin becoming a threat to New York City would be pretty damn dope. Okay, like even taking this off of the next Spider-Man movie, using the multiverse for a movie feels like it's automatically making the movie turn into some massive event. Again, not every movie needs to be the fate of the world or the fate of the multiverse with other universes unraveling. It doesn't always have to be on this big scale. But I feel like when the multiverse is involved, when it becomes such a prominent tool, this is what happens, more times than not. I feel like when you're a kid, you enjoy this shit way more because you're not overthinking everything. Trust me, I get that. I mean, if you look at my channel, most of it is just me overthinking bullshit. It's fun, but it's also difficult to stay shut when shit just doesn't add up or it smells fishy. And unfortunately, the multiverse is very fishy. Anyway, let me know some instances where you feel like alternate timelines or universes or time traveling are done well. But alright, that's all I gotta say. In the meantime, I'll just be here, patiently waiting for my X-Men to arrive.